All right, we're here. Welcome, everybody. This is our performance seminar for Friday, the 9th of May. It's our 6:30 session. We have two pianists joining us today. So I'd like to invite Mr. Varun to open our concert for us. When you're ready, Varun, you know what to do.
My name is Varun. I'll be playing Colgera.
Nice. This is such an impossible request day to do a trill and then have all these other notes jump around.
Yeah, it's a bit
Because
weird.
what it's actually asking you to do is, right? And then
Yeah, it
with
is.
one
But when I
hand,
listen to the recording of the actual music, it's more like just sort of that. Kind
it's
of more
more
like
just grace
a
notes, is
grace
it?
note. It's more like grace notes. Yeah,
Okay. All right. Well, we should fire the person that made this arrangement. That's so funny. All good. Excellent. How was that performance for you?
I feel like it was good. I think I started rushing to the end, but other than that, I feel like I did well.
Yeah, I think it was pretty solid. It was just more when you got to this part. Yeah, yeah, da 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 da
Yeah,
da. Da. Right? Do you
yeah.
have any idea why you spit up?
Um, I feel like because sometimes like my when I'm trying to like match it up with my left hand as well, right? I like unconsciously speed it up because I feel like, oh, I'm going too slow or something.
Okay, I gotcha. I
It's supposed
gotcha.
to be the same pace as like the first part, right? So
Yeah. Yeah, da, 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 da. This just requires some metronome work then, so that
yeah,
you can really align the first beat and the second beat. First beat, sorry, first beat and the third beat. First beat and the third beat. Yeah.
yeah,
But listen back to your recording of this, right?
yeah. Okay.
Um, you can definitely stretch out these notes. Da ba da 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 da. Right? Don't feel that you have to. Yeah, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Don't feel that you have to rush your way through it. I thought other than that, let's go to Anya. Anya, what were your thoughts on Varun's performance?
It was really good. I mean, like, the rhythm was really steady.
Really smooth, right? Yeah. Yeah, I thought in general the playing was very smooth, Varun. I think, but it's just the just making sure that you don't get too excited.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get excited internally, but don't let it influence how you play the music,
Yeah.
and let it play around with your speed. Especially when you have all this kind of stuff here jumping around, you need to make sure that you're steady,
Yeah.
and then it just gets more intense.
Yeah. That part is weird.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
This piece.
It's really long too.
I think because it's a piece of music that it's got a lot of layers to it, and there's a lot of data coming at you. You really want, not just for you but also for the listener, you want to keep it as steady as possible so we can follow along. Otherwise,
Yeah.
it's like watching a movie with too many characters and too many scene twists. What are we watching? And then it ends. The credits roll. You're like, what? Is that the end of the? Have you seen those movies? The credits start. You're like, I want my money back, and I want a refund of my popcorn. This,
Yeah.
it just So I think playing is like that as well. You really wanna, and having that steady tempo when everything is so chaotic, you need to have one constant.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time it's just that steady pulse. So it's a good start though. It's a good start. Just continue with some metronome work and then return to performance seminar when you've had some time to work on getting that beat. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. Excellent. All right. Thank you for sharing. Really cool. All right, Miss Anya, stage is yours.
I'm doing this memorized.
Whoa. Okay. Cool. Better not look at my screen then. Bravo, Anya. And it's all done in the memory as well.
Yeah.
How was that for you?
I think it was good.
Yeah? Why don't you walk us through what you thought was good about this performance?
I mean, I think the dynamics are good, but I could speed it up a little more.
Interesting. Yeah, it's funny the topic of tempo, right? Sometimes we feel it can be slower, faster, stay the same. What are your thoughts, Varun? Do you feel that her performance can be faster, or do you feel that it was quite
I
nice?
feel like it was better slower.
I think so
It gives
too.
it more definition in general.
Right.
Yeah.
Even the title Forest Whispers, I would imagine that Forest Whispers are something that happens slowly and quietly within the forest rather than fast. Yeah. But I don't know. Anya, you're the performer. What are your thoughts? You say
Yeah,
it can,
I think you're right.
right? I mean, Varun and I don't know if we're right, but it's just it's all very subjective, isn't it? It's just how we would interpret it. But it's just something for us as artists to think more about when we play someone else's music, right? Like, what do you think Mr. Dennis Alexander is trying to? What kind of story was he trying to tell writing this piece? So, the way that we play our dynamics, the way that we phrase it, the tempo that we choose are all the different ingredients that we want to consider to help us bring the narration, the story to life. Right? And one thing could be tempo. Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, I feel that I agree with Varun. It really helped you bring out the notes really clearly.
Yeah.
As in that tempo allowed for whatever you got in mind, it was really defined, you know?
hmm
So if there was any, what are your thoughts?
I think if I make it faster, then I don't know if I'll get that much of a feel to the piece.
Maybe. I mean, I know you can always try. You can always try, right? Just that's the beauty of these performance seminars. Just experiment doing different styles. But what I would say is when whatever you two choose as a tempo, make sure it reflects what you're trying, it reflects something, right? You don't just, I want to play fast for the sake of playing fast. That has no meaning or intent. But if you say, I want to play fast because I feel that it will make the music, it'll highlight the minor section of the piece, makes it stand out more, or makes it easier to listen to. I don't know. Just have a reason for it and then try. But yeah, no, I thought that it was really well controlled. And all of the stuff here was really wonderful because you're starting to give it more shape. And when you have parts in a piece of music that are really repetitive, the danger is because it's the same thing over and over, it could sound boring, right? But our job is to not make it sound boring and to make it feel like it's moving forward, right? So creating shape in the left hand is a great idea. Is there anything else that you'd like to experiment other than tempo with the piece?
I'm not sure. I'm not really sure.
This is a good place to be in. This means that you've already done a lot of thinking, right? And so from my end, another thing that you can experiment with is your dynamic range, right? Just making sure that once you get to these fortes, you build it even more. Where is the climax for the piece?
That forte part?
Right? So when we hear it, do you believe it's the climax for the piece? That's what you need to ask yourself. Does this feel like the big moment of the piece, right?
Okay.
Most pieces of music have some kind of peak, right? Some kind of main attraction to it. So you want to find that. I mean, not all pieces, but you know, this piece here, it would seem that this is where the whole music is leading to. So you really want to arrive. Da 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 dee da dum bum da da da. You can imagine all the strings in the orchestra are playing, and the woodwinds are playing this with, and the conductor has just much bigger gestures. So that's another thing you could do to help yourself as well. Think about this: if this were played by a whole orchestra, what would happen? Like, for instance, in the beginning, what could be playing this top line here?
Like that's the melody.
What instrument in the orchestra would you imagine playing this top line?
Violin.
Violin, right? So it just could be some woodwinds and dum, 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 maybe cellos, right? And then it just slowly builds up, maybe violin and flute start to build in, violins and violas, and then it just gets laid, more layers, until here is almost the whole orchestra. Yeah, and it just builds and builds and builds. So that's one thing that you guys can consider when you're trying to create more tension or more drama in your piece of music. Like, if it were played by an orchestra, who plays what? Just imagine building it, and you'll notice that the way that you play the piano as well changes. It feels like you're working with a whole orchestra. But yeah, my big, as I always say to everyone, the best teacher that you have are your own ears. So that's why I always encourage you, listen back to these recordings, listen to these videos, so that you can hear for yourself what you're doing, because it's quite different what you do and what we're hearing. And then you hear it back, you're like, oh wow, I've got no dynamics at all. Or, that was really beautiful what I did. I'm really convinced by the interpretation, then don't change it, right? What I've noticed about the best piano players in the world is that they are so, they're so convinced that what they're doing is the right thing to do in that moment. You know what I mean? And that's how they practice. They're like, right? There's a lot of experimenting that goes on, trying to figure out speeds and dynamics and stuff. But once it's game day, they don't question anything. You don't go on stage and be like, oh, I don't know. Like, no, they're 100% on. Game is on. I'm going to do that forte. I'm going to do this one crescendo. I'm going to do that. I'm going to really bring out that right hand line, more balance, less left hand. No? So think about that as you guys continue playing. And then when you are next perform, you'll notice a difference. Yeah? All right, excellent. Well, that is the end of class. Hopefully that gives you guys some things to think about. I can't wait to hear some more Zelda, Varun. Once you got some more of that, continue working on getting that pulse sorted. And Anya, experiment with some tempos. Maybe you'll play it faster next time. Who knows?
Okay.
Yeah. All right.